Hello everyone, this is Supersnoopy here, back with another SWTOR Republic video. Today I forgot another SWTOR Republic discussion video. In today's SWTOR Republic discussion video, we're just going to be going over a full review of the SWTOR Republic Knights of the Fallen Empire expansion. Now we do have the HK, bonus chapter and also another Alliance Alert mission to look forward to at the time of recording this video. But for the most part, the expansion for Knights of the Fallen Empire is basically over now. So I just decided I would give, my review of how I felt about the expansion and all the different content it had to offer. So if you guys enjoy the SWTOR Republic discussion video, as always, if you guys enjoy these videos, then make sure to leave a like. And if you guys want some nice gaming glasses, then check the links down below. No scope gaming glasses, but yeah. Hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you guys in the discussion. Alrighty guys, let's get into this discussion right now. So as you guys know, in SWTOR Republic there was an expansion release known as the Knights of the Fallen Empire expansion. Included 16 storytelling single-player chapters in the SWTOR Republic MMO. Included, the Eternal Championship, kind of a group slash solo play, little, arena match type thing. We did also get the Star Fortress, which was kind of like a flashpoint of sorts to help out with the Alliance. You got a, Alliance commanding, base slash planet. You did also get, a companion window right here that did change up companions. So the expansion did have, quite a few things to offer right there. There also is, some other stuff like you can go to Zakul, another planet. There's, some extra stuff right there in between. So for this little discussion slash review, I'm just going to give my overall, opinions on it right here. Just, really quick just to summarize what I think about the expansion. Then I will go into a little more detail. So honestly, just to quickly summarize this up about my thoughts on the expansion is, personally, if you were paying, $15 a month or you're just paying monthly for just this expansion purely, then it definitely was not worth the money at all. Now, I mean, obviously, most people can honestly probably agree with the fact that if you're paying $15 a month purely for this, one chapter and then every now and then, I would say, kind of group content, the Eternal Championship or a subscriber reward, it in itself is definitely not worth the money just for like one expansion that is, or not expansion, but one chapter that's usually only worth, like an hour long. Definitely isn't really worth the money in my opinion just for that. Now, I mean, if you obviously are playing the other aspects of the game and you're just going through it fresh, then it definitely is worth it. But if you are someone who paid purely for this expansion and nothing else, and just going back purely for the expansion, just nothing else that the game had to offer, definitely isn't really worth the money. But if you are someone that, of course, is just playing the other aspects of the game and doing all that different stuff, then it still is worth the money. Just the thing you have to realize is that, it isn't too much content that is being added into the game besides just the story content, which some people don't really like since this is an MMO after all, and this is just kind of, solo story content. But if you were to, just pay right now and you just wanted to play purely for Knights of the Fallen Empire, if you paid, for a single month, you would get access to everything that the expansion has to offer currently, which is basically almost everything. So right now, I definitely would say if you were just to sub for 1 month for this expansion, it would definitely be worth the money. But if you were just subbing every single month purely for this expansion, just every single month for it, then it definitely is not worth the money. Now, I will go over this and just the reasons why. A couple of the reasons why I feel like you should, of course, this was a, pretty okay expansion. It wasn't, super great or anything. But the reason I thought it was okay is because, we got, some new story. Just a, full-fledged story, just going over something different, unique in the, SWTOR Republic universe. So that was pretty cool right there. We also got to see, just how our characters can, interact with other characters that we met from before. We got to see the Eternal Championship, which I actually really enjoyed. I actually still use that right now. So that's something that I actually really like that was added into the game. We also got, these different heroic missions, terminals, and all this stuff. I also got to, just help with the commanders and all this different stuff. So overall, there is some pretty cool things when it comes down to this expansion. Now, I mean, for this first section right here, I'm just going to kind of go over, I just went over a basic overview of the expansion right here and just my, thoughts on it. I'm just going to go over some of the negatives real quick, and I'm just going to go over the positives. Just overall, what I personally feel about this expansion. Because in no means I don't think that this expansion, is terrible. There are some issues with it that obviously, people notice. There's some people, you obviously, say that this is, the 10 out of 10 expansion. Which, I mean, you are entitled to your own opinion, but, just with me, I just feel kind of mixed with this, I guess expansion. It wasn't really the best in my opinion, but it still was, pretty decent. I mean, you still got something out of it. So of course, with the negatives is the obvious, is that it's basically almost I say exclusively single player content. Now, I mean, a lot of people noticed this from the very start. So we got only these single player, chapters. We did get the Eternal Championship, but still that is basically single player. We got, the commanders for heroics. You can do that with a buddy, but for the most part, it's still, once again, a single player. Then we just had, just some more stuff. It was kind of, focused on chapters, which, I mean, if you just think about it like that, if we're just focusing purely on the single player story, then obviously the expansion is just, like I said, just a single player story, not really anything MMO-like. This is also a reason why a lot of people decide to wait and then just sub now to get all the, chapters, so they could play the multiplayer content and then also get the single player content without having to spend, $15 a month or buying a really long, sub card. So we do have that right there. That's one negative that I noticed. Another negative is that choices really don't matter in the, 16 chapters. That's the one issue I really had, is just the fact that, like I say, choices, honestly, in my opinion, really don't matter. Now, I mean, you could, argue with Chapter 16, we did get to see something with KOTFE, that he could betray you and change up the story a little, which was pretty cool, not gonna lie, that they did incorporate that. But, far too often with this expansion, I saw, these different choices, for example, we had, like, Lana that was almost going to die at one of the points in the story, and they can use Valkorian's power to save her, but if you don't use it, then she still survives. Or in Chapter 16, the final chapter, where of course, you do fight Arkan. You can choose to kill him, it doesn't kill him. Then you can choose to kill him again, it doesn't kill him once again. It just keeps on telling you that you can kill him, but it won't kill him. That's also an issue right there. They just continue to allow him to survive. It just seems like some of the choices you make in the story really don't have any effect with what exactly happens. That's something that I also noticed right there. And also the fact is just that, I say, kind of the sluggish pace when it comes down to, the, I say, release of new content for the expansion. Now, to be fair, this is obviously a strategy by BioWare, of course, just to continue to get people to try and sub every single month, just to get, subscriber rewards and all this different stuff for, a chapter a month. But at the same time, that is all really, that's the only content that we really got. We didn't get any group content. All we would get every single month was, just about an hour to an hour and a half of just story. Which, like I said, once again, I mean, if you're paying $15 a month and you aren't doing anything else in the game, purely for that, it's a complete, honestly, a waste of money, because it doesn't really seem worth it just to, hop onto the game just to get that quick, hour and a half of story, maybe an alliance mission or two. I just feel like, if you're just playing purely for that, it isn't really worth it. That's the one thing with MMOs, though, is since MMOs are really big, of course, you can just play through that story and then continue to do stuff, which is why I just continue to stay subbed. I wasn't, really subbing purely for Knights of the Fallen Empire. I mean, I still, of course, was seeing that new content, but I was still playing other parts of the game, which is why I was still subbing for it. But if you're just subbing purely for the expansion, it definitely, in my opinion, it wasn't really worth it. So those are just some of the negatives right there, in my honest opinion. Now I'm just going to go over some of the positives, of course. Like I said, some of the positives with this expansion is that we got to see, new story, just see how our characters could interact, with familiar faces and whatnot. I did also really like, the whole entire idea of the, the new companion system and alliance system. Even though they didn't really incorporate that much into the story with the alliance, it really gave me, I would say, a sense of progression. Now, it's the same thing with the companion window that they added with, Knights of the Fallen Empire. Is I actually really do like this whole entire idea of just having the alliance specialists and just completing heroics and stuff. Even though it is a bit grindy, I still really do enjoy just this sense of progression. It's one reason why I actually, do enjoy playing this game and other games, other MMOs and whatnot, is playing any game that really has something to progress in. Because it is really fun to just go ahead and just continue to do stuff and, just get even better and then, build it up. So, of course, that thing is even better than it was before. So that was something I really did enjoy with this. Another thing I really did enjoy is, even though it didn't seem like choices really mattered too much, one thing I did like is just how, I say, the story flowed. I mean, to be honest, there are some moments that, kind of had me a bit iffy, and some of the stuff just seemed, kind of boring at times, but overall, I say as a story, I did enjoy Knights of the Fallen Empire. Even, some of the flaws that it did have, I still actually enjoyed the chapters. I'm pretty sure a lot of people can agree that it is a pretty enjoyable story in itself. There are flaws with it, but obviously, I'm not going to completely overlook those. But I still just, I say, enjoy the story. Just some of the problems, and there are flaws with stuff, which obviously should be noted. Now, like I said, I mean, there are, obviously, there's equal positives and negatives. I mean, this isn't, like, just completely terrible, because I know that some people will just completely trash it and say, wow, this is just a disgrace to the game. Even though there is, issues with it, I still feel like there are some positives of course, enjoying it. Now, like I said, once again, just to state what I said in the beginning, is in no means is this just worth your money if you're just playing, or you're actually paying purely for the expansion. But if you are, just getting other stuff, and you just, sub now, if you're new to the game, just subbing right now for the expansion, I feel like it's worth it. Because honestly, just if you weren't playing through all the content when it was coming out, there is still a lot of content to do, which is really awesome. But at the same time, as an expansion, I felt like, there were some, shortcomings. But overall, in the end, I still feel like it is, pretty enjoyable to play. It was enjoyable to play just these stories and see all the stuff that was added. Also was enjoyable just to, just go ahead and just see it. What's happening, we just got to continue the, they say the story where it left off. But yeah, we got to continue the story of the game from earlier on, so that was pretty cool right there. So like I said, just in my opinion, this was, it was enjoyable to play. Of course, there were flaws with, choices and stuff, but obviously, they can learn from these. And I feel like they will learn from these, I guess a couple mistakes and stuff for Knights of the Eternal Throne. I saw in one interview, I forget where it's from, but they are going to try to introduce some more group content later on. I'm pretty sure they do realize, I guess it was kind of like, not really a test run, but it was a way for them to just see, Bioware, just see how the whole entire storytelling, aspect can work in an MMO. They did try this, of course, with chapters 1, 2, and 3 with the base game. But they just got to, kind of experiment with it to see how it would, they could just kind of, experiment with the game engine, just see, how people would react to certain things in the story. And of course, just, release these chapters, just kind of like an episode idea. Kind of like Telltale does, except, a lot quicker and a lot shorter. So yeah, I mean, overall, it is worth it if you just were to sub right now. And if you're playing other stuff in the game, then it's fine to just sub right now, of course. But if you're just, playing purely for Knights of the Fallen Empire, nothing else, now obviously it will not be worth it. That can be really said with almost any expansion in a game, is if you're playing only for that single section of the expansion, it should offer a lot of content, which in my opinion, if you were to start right now, I think it does offer a pretty, a big amount of content. It's just that that content isn't just, really group content, which is a big reason why a lot of people just didn't really like it. So overall, that was my review of Star Wars Republic Knights of the Fallen Empire. I am, pretty mixed on my opinions and views on it, but I still obviously did enjoy it, as you can probably tell. Because if I didn't, then I obviously would just be making a rant video 24/7 just saying, guys, this expansion sucks and all that different stuff. So if you guys enjoyed this Star Wars Republic discussion video, as always, if you guys enjoy these videos, then make sure to leave a like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.